Hello, vinyl community. Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records, and I'm on to do a challenge that Cesar made about autographs on records and other types of autographs we might have. It's kind of a vinyl tag dealing with autographs. I'll put a link to Cesar's channel down below, and I hope you'll click on it and subscribe to him and check out his original video about this challenge. He specifically challenged a few people on the video, and then on Rachel's stream a couple of days ago, he went on and urged others to do it as well. So I'm one of those others, I guess you'd say. Okay, first, what are we listening to in the background right now? The From just a few years ago, the Leon Russell, Elton John, the Union album. Nice collaboration between two great artists. Okay, so to get started, I've divided it up into, I guess, two categories. One would be albums I've picked up that happen to have autographs on them. The other would be albums that I've bought that specifically said that they included the autograph. Bought new. It specifically said that. And the others would be albums that I have gotten an autograph from the artist when they were performing, and I picked up their LP. And then I've got one book that's autographed that I'd like to share with you. Okay, first of all, the Bluegrass Experience and Collection is the name of this album. And one of the great bluegrass bands, regional bands here in North Carolina that I went to see a lot. If you had a street fair or a festival in your small town or something like that, oftentimes the one of the bands that would be playing for the street dance or street fair would be the Bluegrass Experience. And they've all signed this album. I think I got this from the uh, Hummer Brawhopper collection. Hummer Brawhopper was a fellow that had a TV show for 25 or 30 years, a morning show. He played music and had musical guests on it and everything. And I bought some of his paraphernalia uh, from a estate sale that his daughter-in-law had put on. And I think that's what this came from. But it's got best wishes and best of luck and that sort of thing written all along here. The next would be a Reba McEntire album I got. And I know nobody talks about Reba much in the vinyl community that I know of. I'm sure there's people out there somewhere that do. But I've always liked Reba. Her TV show Reba's funny too. If anybody ever watches that. And there she's signed at Reba McEntire. I got this. This is an artist that my wife and I both agree on. Uh, when we first got married, CDs were in vogue. Got married in '88, so we didn't have many CDs in the car. One of the few that we had was a live Reba, but I got this at an estate sale in Fayetteville 5, 6, 7 years ago. It had a lot of good country in it, and this happened to be in there. He probably saw her in concert and got her to sign that for him at the show. And then for an artist that when I bought the record, part of the promotion for the record was that it would be autographed, opened up and autographed. Lucinda Williams, and this album is called Good Souls, Better Angels, and you can see she signed it with a gold pen. This was a 2020 uh, Highway 20 Records release, and it says limited edition, natural colored vinyl, virgin vinyl, the cleanest formulation. Vinyl version includes 5 exclusive bonus tracks and a download card. And of course, it also included uh, the signature. And then we get to artists that I have actually got it signed at the time I picked up the record. Little Jimmy Dickens. There he is with Reba, Barbara Mandrell, I believe, receiving his Hall of Fame, Country Music Hall of Fame induction. And you can see he signed it. Hey, Chester. This is Chester, if anybody doesn't know Chester. And it signed, thanks, Little Jimmy Dickens. And I've got a picture or two I'll show you from that occasion. He played in a little, a little place, little community, not a town, a community called Linden, right across the Harnett County border in Cumberland County, where Fayetteville, some of you might know Fayetteville, North Carolina, where Fayetteville is in Cumberland County, but this is out in the country. And he played on a flat, flatbed of a truck right there at a warehouse. And it was drizzling rain that day. And I bet there weren't 15 or 20 people there at most. And we had a carload of 4 or 5 of us that went to the show. And we made up about a fourth of the group there. And so this is about 1984. So we're talking about 40 years ago or so. The reason I know that is the hat I'm wearing is from a restaurant up where I went to school and graduated in 83. So this is 83 or 84. And there is a young Elliot with little Jimmy Dickens, and you can see why he's called little. I'm about 6 foot tall, and there he is, a much shorter person. And here's one more of little Jimmy Dickens and Elliot Cruz. There we are, and you can see not exactly an exclusive location. There's old junkyard back here, and uh, just out in the country. He pulled up in a big old Cadillac, pulling a small trailer, and pulled up just before he was supposed to go on, maybe 30 minutes before the show was supposed to start, maybe an hour. He pulls up, driven all the way from Nashville, Tennessee to Eastern North Carolina. Uh, he gets out of the driver's seat, out of the passenger side front seat, gets out his wife or girlfriend. I don't know which. And you saw how short little Jimmy Dickens is. So he's here, and his girlfriend or wife is about a foot taller plus a foot of bouffant styled hair, dyed orange. So she's got this big bouffant hairdo on, and she wasn't a scrawny woman at all. She was a little plump, and so more to keep you warm in the wintertime, right? But and then out of the back seat come the 4 members of his band or whatever it was, 4 or 5, I could count them there, but I'm not going to. And they get out, they unload the trailer they're pulling behind that big old Cadillac. They get all the equipment, the instruments loaded up. Probably didn't spend 5 minutes doing a sound check, and bam, they're performing for 15 or 20 people. But they had an obligation to be there, and there they were, putting on a show. So we enjoyed it. He's good, little Jimmy Dickens, the late little Jimmy Dickens. Had to stop and flip the record over, or actually take the record off. Now we're listening to Bradford Marsalis, something I picked up at the record show the other day from 1984, I believe, and Scenes in the City, it's called. All right, so to continue on. Recently, say in the last 4 or 5 years, a good friend of mine, Dave, and I found out that in the city, small town or small city about 20 miles away, a place called Sanford, that they were having a street festival. And of all bands that they were going to have playing at the street festival, Southern Culture on the Skids was going to be playing there, Scots. So we were so excited about the opportunity to see Scots or Southern Culture on the Skids that we quickly made our way to Sanford that evening and saw Southern Culture on the Skids. Zombified, and all the members of the band signed it for me. And I do have some pictures from that. There's 3 band members, by the way. I do have some pictures from that, but they're on the phone. I never did quite figure out how to take pictures from the phone and do much with them. They're probably lost by now, but it's Dave Hartman on the drums, Mary Huff on the bass, and Rick Miller on guitar. And they all do a little singing, mostly Mary and Rick for lead vocals at least. Great band. If you've never seen them, they've been around for about 40 years. And Southern Culture on the Skids. This is Zombified. And it's got classics like Zombified, Undertaker, Swamp Thing, She's My Witch, Bloodsucker, Sinister Purpose, Torture, Devil Stomping Ground, Bats Are Sleeping, Idol with the Glowing Eyes, The Creeper, Eyeball You Later, and Primitive. Southern Culture on the Skids. Really nice people. Of course, we were able to talk with Rick Miller a little bit and Mary Huff. And first thing Rick Miller asked us was, "Oh, where y'all from? Y'all from here in Sanford?" And we said, "No, we were from Lillington." And he thought a minute. He says, "Harnett County?" And we said, "Yep." And he said, first thing he said was Link Ray. Yep. Link Ray was born and spent his formative years in Harnett County, actually near Dunn, which is in the eastern part of the county. But that was interesting because he's a big fan of Link Ray. Now, the last thing I want to show you is a book. It's called For the Sake of the Song, Towns Van Zant, and it is lyrics and music to various songs that he has written over the years. And I got this pre-internet. I bought, I think it's the live album from the old quarter uh, of his, but I'm not sure, on Tomato Records. But they had an insert, and that's the way they used to do things way back then. You get little postcards or little flyers in the records oftentimes, especially stuff that wasn't the mainstream big label stuff, uh, for mail order houses that sold records or for special offers. And they had an offer in there. I think it was probably for $10 or something like that, that you could get this limited edition book signed by Towns Van Zandt. And there he's autographed it. And this was limited. This is number 438, but I don't know how many were printed, how many he signed and were printed. But I got that a long time ago. It may say in here what it's limited. It says the first pressing, first edition of For the Sake of the Song has been produced in an edition of 5,000 copies. The first 1,000 are cloth bound. Towns Van Zandt signed and numbered the first 500 of this limited edition. Okay, so it was 5,000 pressed, 1,000 are cloth bound, and this one is, and the first 500 of those 1,000 are signed by him, and it's 438 out of 500. So that's my little keepsake, Towns Van Zandt, For the Sake of the Songbook. Okay. Cesar, I hope everything's going well for you, and I hope a lot of people do this. I guess you call it a tag or yeah. I guess it's a tag or a thread. So people, if you've got some autographs you'd like to show, why not do a video to add to this series? Okay, folks, it's Elliot, Lazy Dogs Records, and I'll remind you to be kind to your neighbors, folks, because we're all neighbors. Take care.